Kevin's mustache is looking fantastic on this bye weekend podcast. Grant Allen, the Broncos got a win today. Fellas, how you doing?
Is Kevin going first? I don't know what to do.
Are you guys dead?
I'm gonna stand off with Kevin. How are you doing? Your mustache looks great. Haircut potentially?
I got a haircut last week, but we didn't record this week, so feeling all right. Didn't
Just
get to
all right.
Didn't get to watch the Hawkeyes this weekend, so that's always disappointing. But did watch a decent amount of football.
Grant said on Twitter that he there's actually a small part of enjoyment that he didn't have to stress over a Hawkeye game. There's the stress that comes with watching the Hawks. Didn't have to experience that part of it.
I stand by that. Yeah, I love watching the team, obviously. Like, watching a win's great, but there is a nice part of just sitting down on, like, as soon as the games start, and it's like I can just watch all this stress-free. Like, I don't have to worry about anything my team's doing today, and I just get to enjoy football.
That's fair.
I enjoyed bye weekend as well. Hopefully the players did. Got a big rest. Got to recuperate a little bit. Got to go back home and see the families. Kev, you never went home during a bye week, did you? You probably just always stayed in Iowa City.
No, I did.
You did?
Yeah, for sure. It's 3 hours down the road, man.
Yeah, I forget that Iowa City's so close. Now, when I live in Des Moines, Chicago feels a lot further away than like that 3 to 5 hour difference is.
Yeah, as far as a road trip, like 3 hours is nothing. 5 hours is like,
that starts to get pretty annoying.
Yeah, if you're just going back for a weekend, that's a lot of driving.
Yeah.
But 3 hours is nothing, dude.
Bunch of linemen are probably out hunting. I don't know what season it is, but probably out shooting something. Any way to fill your cup, right? Grant, I have a question. You don't have. This is a question for both of you because there's a lot of college football. Really feels like the ball is rolling. Like it's week 4, it's week 5. It really feels like the momentum of the season is. Big Ten play has started.
Sure.
The snowball's rolling down the mountain at this point. You could say.
Yeah.
Lots of great college football happening yesterday.
Sure.
As the Hawkeyes were not on, what got you fully tented? What really got the juices going? I saw you tweeting about all kinds of things. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening, specifically with that Georgia-Alabama game last night. This freshman wide receiver is absolutely insane. This Jeanty guy. I mean, Caleb. It's hard to make Caleb Johnson look at a clear second place, and this Jeanty guy from Boise State is doing it.
Yeah, well, it's such a shame too because I think Caleb Johnson is a incredible player, like top Heisman candidate. But Ashton Jeanty also might be having one of the greatest running back seasons in the history of college football right now. It's insane.
Can you pull up can you pull up the statistically the best? It's got to be Adrian Peterson at Oklahoma, right? Is he close?
It's probably, yeah. I'm sure.
The best freshman running back?
No. Just the best rushing season statistically in the history of college football.
I'm sure Reggie Bush is up there.
Bush has to be up there.
Herschel Walker's got to be up there.
Christian has got to be up there.
Barry has got to be up there.
I mean, Ron Dane's got to have at least one.
Ooh, Dane was elite. Different game back then, obviously, but.
All right, do you want career or single season?
Give me single season.
Okay. All right, hold
on. But anyway, yeah, it is unfortunate because, dude, I mean, oh, look at this. Beautiful. Oh, this gives us the top 30.
You guys witnessed. You guys were a part of
we were unfortunately a part of one of these, yeah.
Yeah, I think he had 230 against us.
Which fortunately was only half of what he had the week before.
True.
Yeah. I think he had 414 yards against Nebraska the week before he played us.
For the listeners, we're talking about 2014 Melvin Gordon.
Yeah. He finished that year. 600 plus of his yards came against us in Nebraska. He had 2,600 yards almost total.
So this is crazy. I know Rashad Penny is the all-time leader if you include bowl games. Except Ron Dane's stat doesn't include bowl games. Because, I don't know, we changed the metric here. But Ron Dane is not even in the top 30 here for all-time single seasons. And he's arguably the all-time leading rusher career-wise.
You want to see career as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
find career.
This is career.
Yeah, there you go. Second behind Donnell Pumphrey.
But that black on red text is not easy to
San
read.
Diego State in. Wow, that was during our time. I'd never heard of this guy.
He's pretty recent. Yeah.
6,400 yards in a career, 13 through 16. Ron Dane in
I didn't know
96.
Jonathan Taylor was up there like that.
Dude, Wisconsin's got 3 guys in the top third. I mean, just unreal. Ricky Williams, stud. Jonathan Taylor, stud. I mean, the names on this list are just absolutely insane. Dude, LaMichael James at 20. That dude was a killer. Some of these names are amazing. I had no plan of us getting into the all-time rushing leading stats, but it is fun to look at these. Grant, as a football guy, what does looking at a list like this do to you?
I do love the list. I love the colors as well. I like that they added the team colors. Makes me feel very spirited. But no, it's good. Like you go down there, it's like, oh shoot, Kareem Hunt, Toledo. Almost forgot about that. That's pretty cool.
Kev, talk about an underrated guy, Justin Jackson out of Northwestern.
Yeah, the kid was pretty good.
The guy was special.
Let's see, 2014, 2015. I mean, those were a couple of good Northwestern teams.
Yeah, it was.
2015 was a pretty solid year for them. And then they beat us in 16 and 17. Bastards.
They beat us too many times. Fortunately we smacked them in 14, and I think the 15 year was the year that I think we went
10 that year.
Yeah, we kind of went crazy that year rushing against them, but 16, 17 just kind of unacceptable games by us. Anyway, this Jeanty guy, anymore, these guys are going to go get paid. And, I don't know. It feels like maybe nowadays guys are just looking to leave a lot sooner on average. And it's really tough. Every single one of those guys that we just pulled up on that list, they're playing for at least 3 seasons, probably 4, to get into the 5,000 plus 6,000 plus yards range. So it's just tough to do that and not go to the NFL if you're putting up those kinds of numbers. It's a hard list to break. I don't know what Jeanty had before this or if he was anything before this year, but he's currently averaging like 210 a game after last night. That's absurd. That's on pace for like a top 3 if you include a bowl game and potentially a playoff. Are we going to get a Boise State playoff team?
I hope. I think they're pretty good.
They've only lost to Oregon, correct?
Barely, too. Like they took them.
Ashton Jeanty, 82 carries for 8. He's averaging 10.3 yards a carry. 3.25 touchdowns a game.
It's just ridiculous. And
15. That's not a guy you want to meet in the hole.
No. Low man wins there.
And I want on record, although Jeanty's having a great season, I still plan on being a full-time Caleb Johnson propagandist this season. I will do my part in trying to get him the Doak Walker Award.
If Caleb Johnson puts up, this upcoming weekend, Caleb Johnson puts up over 100 yards against the Buckeyes, has a solid performance. It would help if Iowa does well too. Like if we can win the game or keep it close. Jeanty, you never know. Jeanty, I mean, they definitely don't play the same competition down the stretch here, which is tough for Caleb, but you don't know. Maybe teams start just absolutely selling out on Jeanty. And
I don't know if you caught any like Washington State, Boise State last night, but I feel
just a little bit.
I feel like they kind of were. And
they tried.
His first touchdown, I think he had like 6 dudes trying to tackle him right in the hole. And then he still broke off a 60-yard run.
Yeah, I wouldn't say his success is at the detch or is because teams aren't trying. They are trying very hard. In fact,
they see 13 touchdowns. Like, I don't know. I think the slot receivers are our biggest issue.
We should probably guard the X's. Anyway, 28 points. Georgia was down 28 points, came back.
Yeah, that was a wild sequence of events there at the end of the game.
I didn't see it, but
you didn't see it.
Does that make you sad?
I'm kind of bummed for you. That was a magical.
How How late was that? I mean, towards the end of the game.
10 o'clock or so.
Yeah, your boy's asleep.
I was considering tweeting when Ryan Williams scored that last touchdown. I was considering just tweeting out and be like, Tyler Kluver is dead asleep right now and missing this.
You should have, because I absolutely I was 100%.
Tyler Kluver has no idea what's going on.
Now here's what I thought about it though, because before I went to bed, we had the multi-view up on YouTube TV. Hey, YouTube TV, let us just choose the 4 games.
Oh, thank you. I've been preaching this for a year about the multi-view. Flawed system.
On one hand, it's a great product. On the other hand, yes, that is a little bit of a flaw. I think it's because they have to keep the stations in the multi-view with the same affiliate or the same parent company, if that makes sense. So like you can watch ABC and ESPN games, or you can watch Fox and Fox Sports 1 games, but you can't have a Fox game and an ABC game because they don't know who to give the ad money to or something like that. I don't know. I think it's something to do with that.
100%. But I'm going to be mad about it.
Makes a little bit more sense. Seems like something they could definitely figure out, though.
What irritates me the most about this is then they added like a little bit later. They're like, oh, you can build your own screen. You can customize it. And I was like, oh, problem solved. We could fix it. No, it's just you rearrange them in the 4 squares. That's all it is. It's just letting you move them around. Like, oh, you can have Alabama in the top right instead of the bottom left now. Ooh, right. Very good. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm on there.
Here's a question for you. It's a very important question. You got 4 games on. You got one that you want to watch above the other 3. Where are you putting that one in the square?
It's in the top for me.
I think I'm a top right guy.
Yeah, I'm probably a top left guy. I'm reading, like as you would read a book of a page. I'm probably putting it in that first slot.
Okay.
Kevin, what about yourself?
It's actually going to be dependent on
TV height,
what TV I'm watching on, and where I'm sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
If I'm on the right side of the couch, I actually like it bottom right.
If I'm downstairs, I'm normally on the ground playing with Kin Diesel. Just, we're doing toys, we're doing coloring, all kinds of fun stuff that 2-year-olds do. And so downstairs, I'd probably put it on the bottom as well. But upstairs, I'd probably go top left or top right. So anyway, bring that up because I've got Georgia, Alabama, and it was probably, I think it was 30 to 7 or 30 to 15. Some weird score.
It was 33-7 at halftime.
Okay. It was around the early third quarter then, I believe.
Okay.
And all I could think was, boy, what spot you would love to have the Georgia Bulldogs in where you're up this big. But in the back of my mind, all I can think about is, oh my God, to have to hold off Alabama or to have to hold off Georgia for an entire second half, knowing that they're still Georgia. That's going to be tough. And I at the time, I did not know if it would matriculate that way. It did. And I saw the highlights, next morning. The catch by this, what's his name? Ryan Williams?
Ryan Williams. Future Bronco, Ryan Williams. Sorry.
Dude, this kid is special. I mean, talk about Jeanty being special. This kid is like a magician. And is he a freshman?
He's a true freshman, and he is 17 years old.
He's 17?
I think he's technically a senior in high school.
He can't even smoke cigarettes?
Can't vote.
Can't even give himself lung cancer, but this guy can demolish a Georgia defense?
You know what I was thinking about again on that last play? Crazy how stupid he made those defenders look.
Unreal.
What poor high school defenders had to guard this dude 10 months ago.
Find his highlight tape. Search his highlight tape. Find it. Bring it up.
Like some poor guy rolls off his biology test and you got to go guard Ryan Williams.
Some poor 5'8" safety from a neighboring town school just got done breaking up with his girlfriend last week. He's going to go guard.
He's got to go guard
Ryan Williams on Friday night.
10 months is going to be the best receiver in the country. Are you serious?
Like, buddy, this is a tough matchup for me, coach. I just don't know if I'm going to get it done tonight. Yeah, that's funny. What else was going on yesterday? Oh, I suppose, Grant, when you get a chance after you're done searching the Ryan Williams highlight, could you bring up the awards winners? I don't know how you guys did. I know this. Hey, Michigan.
Let's just do that first.
What are you doing?
That was my favorite pick of the week. And
I love it.
Yeah, it was looking great. I actually pulled up the app on, I think it was like middle of third quarter, and like they're offering you like a cash out.
Sure.
And it was like offering me like 95% of like what the total payout would be. Like,
right.
No, I mean, they've got this in the bag. I want my extra, I don't think it was extra $15 or something like that. And they just absolutely collapsed.
I didn't watch that game, so
I missed most of the first half, but watching the second half, they just looked like a poorly coached football team. Like you got linebackers running around in zone coverage, had no idea where they're supposed to be at. Giving up a big punt return. Should have given up the onside kick.
They should have lost that game.
They should have lost the game. Yeah.
Minnesota got boned, right? That wasn't offsides. I don't think it was offside. I saw the picture.
Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but it's like one of those things that's
how do you call
never gets called unless it's like blatant.
How do you call that?
Yeah.
I feel nothing. They had it coming.
Oh yeah, no, for 100% they had that.
I did enjoy the banter of Iowa fans of, oh, how does it feel?
Oh, you're upset about the rule book. Interesting. Oh.
And I don't have any sympathy for them. I don't care that they lost. It would have been cool. It makes me think, Grant, for our purposes on taglines for Tuesday,
okay.
It does make me think, where does Michigan really sit here? Because now we have Michigan versus Minnesota. We also have Iowa versus Minnesota. 1 week, not like it's an early season, late season thing, like 1 week after each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm rethinking maybe how I didn't think Michigan was good to begin with. I think we saw that they're definitely not nationally relevant like they were last year once they played Texas earlier this season. But I think they're even less maybe good.
I thought their defense was better than what they showed on Saturday. They look very average on defense on Saturday.
Yeah. So
I mean,
that'll be interesting.
That's a game that they had a blocked punt return for a touchdown too. It's like, the fact that didn't end up being a blowout. I mean, like I said, just looked like a poor coaching job in the second half. Like they just looked like a poorly coached football team.
Wouldn't doubt it. What do you got there, Grant? You got any highlight tape to show me?
Oh, I thought we were doing Ward's winners.
Okay, pull up Ward's winners because that's why I mentioned Michigan in the first place. Yeah. If Michigan just takes care of business and just closes a game out, your boy's 3-0 on the weekend. JMU scores points like a basketball team. Kansas State, I just had a good feeling about that one. They end up winning by like 20. Michigan just beat the Gophers by 10 points and get out of town.
And they had so many opportunities to do it. They kick a field goal with like 2 minutes left in the game. They just need to stop and you can still cover.
Unbelievable.
And they just go right down the field. They had multiple fourth downs and again, like just playing bad defense. And that was a frustrating one to watch as a better.
Unfortunate, but anyway, I go 2-1. You guys had lots of picks, so we'll spend a little bit more time on you. Kev, run me through yours real quick.
Yeah, so we had Rutgers -2.5 Friday night, home versus Washington. A short week for a long trip, and Rutgers is a solid team, man. So they win them by 3, so they cover the 2.5.
How nervous were you when they're lining up to kick that field goal at the end?
Ties it, doesn't it?
Ties it, but you don't want to go to overtime.
Just a little bit.
Like with momentum still.
Yeah.
I'm cheering for Rutgers. Like I like the Scarlet Knights.
Well, Grant, you tweeted about it. Talk to your families. Talk to your kids about the 4-0 Scarlet Knights.
I think they're 4-0 ATS too.
Really? Great teams cover.
America's team potential. All right.
Yeah, I think they're on.
Did they run onto the field with an actual Scarlet Knight? Did I see that?
I don't know if they do that every game, but this is the first time I've seen it, and that was the coolest entrance I've ever seen.
It was absolutely fantastic. They should do it every game.
Then I had the Michigan pick. Should have been able to cash that one. That was
I like the jug.
Bizarre performance in the second half from them. They do not cover the 9.5. They only win by 3. Iowa State -13.5. They win 20-0 versus a very struggling Houston team.
Bad Houston team.
Yeah. Illinois plus 17.5.
Love that
They
pick.
lose 21-7. It was a
Yep.
closer game than that. They throw a late pick 6. But they still cover the 17.5. And then I
Bad
had
pick
Georgia.
by Altmaier.
Yeah. Then I had Georgia minus 2.5, and that was never really in play, even when they took the lead. I actually needed Alabama to score the touchdown and the 2-point conversion.
So that they could
But
go to
they'd go
overtime.
up 7 so that Georgia could come back and tie it and go to overtime and somehow win by 3. But yeah, just on the wrong side of the coin on that one. So we go 3-2 on the weekend.
Not bad. Not bad. Take 60% at the end of the year. Gary, quickly run down these.
Yeah, I mean, we don't got to talk about all of them, but we're back above 500.
Love that for you.
So that's great. Some people furious about them. Some people excited. We'll see. Shout out my boy Birds of Prey. Tried to put it all together in an 11-leg parlay. We didn't get it, but we're gonna hunt for it. We're gonna keep trying out to do that. But yeah, just some good stuff. Western Kentucky was kind of weird. We got that at plus 13, but then I think Friday, Boston College announced their quarterback was going to be out, so that dropped a bunch to 8. But they almost went outright anyway, so you didn't even have to worry about it. Auburn, I'm furious. I'm so upset at Peyton Thorne. I cannot believe they blew that lead to Oklahoma. Just some of the dumbest quarterbacking these guys have ever seen. Frankly, very disappointed in Auburn. So there's that. I had Alabama at plus 1. I got to it later than you, Kevin. So when they missed the 2-point conversion after they scored a touchdown to go up 1, I was ecstatic because I was like, I think we're at a minimum we push. So that was huge. But then we ended up getting it anyway. NIU had a crazy one with who was that? North Carolina State, like hanging on by a thread. I think they ended up pushing. So I'm going to have to change that in the record. I don't think we actually got the win. But so that would actually, oh no, I'm just discovering I think we're at 500 now.
Oh, jeez.
Now we gotta reevaluate back to the system.
You're gonna have to absolutely fire from the hip next week, another 10 or 12 picks.
Oh, we were gonna do that anyway. But yeah, and then Boise was super fun to end out the night with Ashton Jeanty. So that was really cool.
I'm really excited at the end of the year for me to be like, hopefully like, I don't know, 24-17 or something, and Grant to be 113-97 or something like that. Like, there's just going to be such a discrepancy in picks.
I should, when we get to bowl games, I might have to add just every single, like as a personal challenge, just every single bowl game.
We might just have to put out a bowl game graphic, and then we each can pick every bowl game.
Yeah, we could do something like that.
Yeah, we could come up with that when the time comes. Cool. So that was Ward's winners of the week. Good weekend for the boys generally. I would say that's a winning weekend for the most part. What else? Okay. UNLV rolled this weekend. They did it without their starting quarterback and running back. Are you guys caught up on this situation?
No, not at all.
You're muted, Grant.
I said Haj Malik Williams is a dog, certified killer. That guy rules. He was amazing.
So this broke last week, Kevin. I'm actually surprised that you haven't at least seen this. I think the kid's name is Matthew Slukas.
Sluka, like Luka Doncic.
Sluka
Doncic.
Okay, Sluka, balling out for the first 4 games of this year. Last Wednesday or Thursday, it comes out that he decides he is taking a red shirt. He's their starting quarterback for almost ranked, undefeated, playoff hopeful UNLV. Comes out, yeah, share that screen for us, Grant. I have decided to utilize my redshirt year, and I will not be playing in any additional games this season. I committed to UNLV based on certain representations that were made to me, which were not upheld after I enrolled. Despite discussions, it became clear that these commitments would not be fulfilled in the future. I wish my teammates the best of luck this season and hope for the continued success of the program.
That's
maybe the craziest in the latest of NIL landscape 2020.
So basically he's holding out for a better contract now. So we are full-blown professional football players now.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, what he's
Well, I was gonna say what I thought it was what I've been hearing is apparently they told him, like some assistant coach told him, hey, if you come here when he transferred from Holy Cross, they said we'll give you $100,000. And he's so far I think he's received either like $3,000 a week or $3,000 total.
I think
went to the office. Like, this is obviously like the limit of redshirting. He's like, am I going to get it? Is anything going to change? And I think they basically told him no. So then he left.
And I don't know. G-Bone, you basically heard every other rumor that I've heard because I've seen anything, Kev, from he straight up was given what he was promised, but he went in and decided, hey, I'm worth more. You pay me more or I'm redshirting, and I'm going to have somebody else just recruit me out of here for next year so that I can go get like a real bag. All the way to, no, this isn't his fault or him being greedy. It's absolutely the school's fault. They promised him this, this, and this. They haven't delivered on a single part of it. And he was like, hey, I'm not like, I was coming here based on some stuff. I'm playing really well. My monetary value is much higher than this. And I can't do it if I'm not getting any of it. I'm sure the reality is somewhere in between. I heard Grant $3,000 a month was what he had received since he showed up. I don't know if he showed up in summer or in early spring. Regardless,
it's not $100,000.
At max, if he's been there since January, you're looking at like, I don't know, 24 grand, 27 grand base. That's a quarter of 100 G's. It's not great when you're promised 100 G's, but on the other side of that, it's not in paper. If you're going to enroll and completely uproot your life, and you're going to go to a school and you're going to play 4 games into a season without ever signing on the dotted line for a contract for money, you're kind of exposing yourself to that. So this is really crazy, Kevin.
This is where we're at in college football.
Well, then he's not even the only player to do this. Like, after this, the UNLV running back left.
The running back did
the same thing. And then afterwards, I think what's the defensive tackle at USC left for the same reason.
I saw that. That kid like hasn't played anywhere, and he's been just bouncing around from like prep school to college over the last like 5 years, and he's got all this hype, but he never plays.
I think he stayed at Georgia for technically like 15 months, but
wow. So with the running back doing it like a day after the quarterback, I tend to think that it might be on the school. I tend to think like, oh, the running back did it too. They must be screwing both these guys over. There's no way that the running back and the quarterback both decide individually, like, oh no, individually, like on my own, I'm just going to say F the team. Like I'm trying to go get mine. Maybe they would, but it kind of feels like they got these two guys. Hey, we got our running back. We got our quarterback. Let's load up. Let's make a run at it this year. Yeah. Tell them we're going to give them 100 grand. We'll find it later. And then they just never found it. And they just hope that they could kind of get away with it. And these guys called them on it. They basically said, all right, screw you. Like, we have one red shirt season. We put enough on tape that somebody better than UNLV will come and get us, pay us more. Man. I don't know if I can't even think of a guy that we really played with, Kev, that would do that kind of thing. I mean, I know there certainly were some. But man, it feels like that's wow.
I mean, again, this is just where we're at in college football, where people are going to schools solely for the monetary reasons that are advertised to them. And again, like you said, you can't have a contract tied to the school or the football program. So I mean, it's puts these guys in questionable legal situations as far as pay for play, but that was kind of that's been the nature of NIL for the last 4 years,
right?
And yeah, you're just seeing where the cracks in the system are, and that's why we're eventually going to go to a model where the schools are paying the kids.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue with it is you ball out at Ball State. You're Devontae Ross at Troy. And you have a couple games. I don't know what he did this weekend. Can you find who Troy played this past week and see if Ross was going off again, Grant? And now all of a sudden you've got every school in America, or at least some high profile ones, coming after you like, hey, could you come do that for us? And you start exploring a little monetary value. Oh, hey, what can you offer? What can you offer? And the issue, Kevin, is you can't sign for anything until you're enrolled for that school. Once you're enrolled, sure, you can set yourself up with their NIL program or their collective or whatever. But You have to make that commitment and really uproot your life and do all the things, admissions, everything, before you can take an ounce of that money. So the schools still technically hold all the power here. Unless you've got a booster that is just willing to go behind the lines and just say, hey, I know you're not enrolled yet. I'm willing to take the chance on you. I'm going to take the risk here. Here's 100, 200 grand. I'll wire it to you. I'll drop it off in a McDonald's bag. Here's your double quarter pounder with cheese and $200K. Please enroll to our school. And then they just hope that the kid comes to their school. It's a tough spot, because you'd like to think that there's kids out there who they're just like, nah, screw it. I'm not going to make decisions based on the money. I'm just going to do what my heart tells me, do what I for the love of the game. But you almost have to make decisions now, at least somewhat considering the financial side of things. And they're still at a huge disadvantage when it comes to.
No, I mean, of course, when you're talking about money of this caliber,
right?
Like, you can't just ignore the fact that schools are offering some guys hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? It's like, that's just naive, right?
I saw, I don't know about these BS NIL valuations that they come out with, like, oh, this guy's now worth, because of his play and all the pub that he's getting on social, they do this calculation, like, this guy's worth so much money. They've done it with Caitlin Clark for the last year and a half. I saw something today that Caleb Johnson's NIL valuation is like just over $800,000 on the open market. Yeah, on the open market right now with what he's done to start this year. And I almost tweeted it, but like, there was a small part of me that was like, don't shed light on this, because maybe you'll be part of the problem if somehow he like goes somewhere else. Like, I almost tweeted something like, hey, are we finding, nobody show Caleb this, because I know he's not getting $800,000. So nobody tell him that he's worth that, because we don't need ideas in these kids' heads. But the reality is he probably is. In today's landscape, he probably is worth almost $1 million. He's the second best running back in the country. I mean, it's a scary world, Kev. I mean, you and I were just trying to get some burritos, brother.
And we couldn't.
Just give us a pizza sponsorship, man.
Couldn't get it done.
God. I would have killed for a Hot Fudge Sundae Culver sponsorship, man.
Do you remember how happy we were for getting $20 a black card a week?
Brother.
Life changing.
Dude, I would walk into Bread Garden Market and I would get me a Kelowna chocolate milk, 2 Jack's pizzas, and maybe one more item, because at Bread Garden it was expensive. And I would go home and I'd make that Jack's pizza. I'd crack that Kelowna, and I felt like I was cheating the system. Like, this was free. It's like, you know that meme where the guy's in the corner at the party and he's like, these people don't know I'm, whatever. I would go home and, like, if I stepped outside and we were like, our neighbors, people walking down the sidewalk, like, these people don't know I got this Kelowna chocolate milk for free. And these guys are like, I won't do it for less than a Lambo. Fuck it. I need a Lamborghini or I'm not coming. It's like, dude, you don't even know about Kelowna chocolate milk, you loser. It's a crazy world. What would be your first sponsorship, Grant?
If I was on NIL,
if you were just a big time NIL athlete today, what would be the brand that you're looking to work with?
All right.
I need one fast food or restaurant chain.
Well,
and then give me like a non-food, like a clothing or something like that.
Well, it's not fast food, but right away I was thinking Diet Coke, Dots Pretzels. It's like half the diet right there. Love those. So got to mix that in somewhere. If we're doing fast food, I don't know. I'm at Chipotle all the time. So
there you go.
Mix that in. I'm also at Chick-fil-A. I'd put Chick-fil-A above Chipotle. If we're doing like, I need an NIL deal somewhere. Yeah, I'd abuse that so much. And they'd also probably thank me, because I would dedicate my entire life to just publicly supporting Chick-fil-A.
You would completely sell out.
And I would have no problem with it whatsoever. Yeah. If they told me, like, hey, just for every sandwich you post yourself eating, we'll cut you so-and-so amount of money. My profile picture would be changed to the cow at Chick-fil-A. It would be a complete madness. You would never see anyone more dedicated to Chick-fil-A than me.
To repping their sponsor. The sponsor would get their money's worth, is what you're saying.
100%. Yeah.
Mine would obviously be Culver's. In fact, I have after this recording, I have a 2-scoop hot fudge sundae waiting for me. We already ate the food portion of the meal before this. And the non-food one would probably be either Rogue Fitness or like Lululemon. Or like Viore. You guys got any Viore clothes?
I got some Viore.
Dude.
Nah, we're a Lululemon household.
Yeah, dude. Either one of those companies, or you know what? Josie Jewell's an Unreal athlete. You have any Unreal?
No.
It's I think they're like an up and coming sort of similar to Viore or Lululemon. I'd probably choose one of those three because their shit is just so good. But yeah, Kev.
I'd probably partner with like a local farm that can give me farm fresh eggs and grass-fed beef.
Oh yeah,
that was probably pretty smart. Actually,
that'd be the food sponsorship I'd go for.
I want to go out and find somebody in Kelowna, actually.
Or can I just hijack the system and be like, my NIL deal was with Goldman Sachs, and I just get a lot of stock.
I've actually partnered with trading tip. I've partnered with Warren Buffett actually, and that's
I'm an exclusive Warren Buffett athlete. Yeah,
a Warren Buffett athlete. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if this thing is going to run an hour tonight. I don't have a whole lot more, unless you guys have some fun college football topics to discuss any further. But I don't know. Any favorite game from yesterday, Grant, that you watched?
Favorite game? Oh, geez. I don't know.
Or were you just so focused on the Broncos win over the Jets today with a missed field goal that killed a teaser I had?
How about that? Well, you kind of root against the Broncos, so I struggle to feel super bad for you. How much have sat here for a year and rooted against Bo Nix.
I deserve
rooted against the Broncos. Yeah. I mean, I struggle. Like, of course, I want you to win. I want you to be happy, but at the same time, I do believe in a karma in the football world.
And I'll take it today. I had a 5-team teaser in, and all I needed was the Jets to win the ball game.
Same. I had a 7-teamer. The last leg will be tomorrow night, but yeah, I just needed Zerline to make that last kick.
I had a 5-teamer in for $20 to win me like 140. And Zerline can't make a 50-yarder, dude. Hey, like Greg, retire.
Pretty tough there, but at the same time, can the Jets score more than 9 points?
Seriously,
that lockdown defense, they can't. Riley Moss, another great game.
Hey, dude, he's like I know PFF doesn't go a long ways with certainly LeVar Woods. If you watched last week's press conference, or a lot of coaches, but that's all I have to go off of, because it's not like I'm going and grading Riley Moss and the rest of the cornerbacks. He had like the highest corner grade in the NFL last weekend, and you said he had another great game today.
I thought he had another great game, yeah.
Well, how about it?
He had one pass interference that almost cost him the game, but other than that.
Okay, so we got a minus on that one. Did you? Oh, by the way, did you guys see the bullshit happening to Coop on the punt returns?
Yeah. Well, I tried to alert the public this morning.
You were. I was
on the front lines. It's like, hey, just so everyone's aware, before anyone gets mad, there's another fair catch controversy going on.
He had one of his guys, dumbass, throw the other player into him, and he fumbled that. He muffed that one. He didn't fumble it. He never had control of it. He didn't have a chance. It hit off his body because one of his teammates threw a guy into him. And then on the next one, it was a full-on Iowa State back in the old punt scuffle that happened where the guy ran into his own player. He gets absolutely leveled by his own cornerback on punt. Like, we just need to get the ball in Coop's hands, and some special stuff can happen, Eagles. But I think the Eagles are the Eagles 2-2, 1-3. They are struggling. I think they got destroyed today by
they came back a little bit, but they were down like 24-0 at one point.
Oh my God! Look at this. Are you? Oh my God! It makes. I mean, this is the kind of thing where Coop needs to get up and be like, dude, he needs to stupid motherfuck that guy like Parker. Unbelievable.
I hope he gets some more chances at punt return, though.
I would hope so. Special with the ball in his hands. Oh, speaking of punts,
Okay.
See Tory?
Moonshot.
Dude.
Some people thought I was kidding, but I'm dead serious. Getting him in the 4th round was such a steal for the Bears.
I saw some analytic posted where after his last bomb, of which if you take away his plus 50 that they kicked on their own, I guess going in on the 43-yard line, which he put at the 7, his other 5 punts averaged 60 yards. I mean, he is on another level, even beyond the NFL punters.
It's so I think the Bears play the majority of their games on Fox, or they have this so far at the start of the season. And I think some of the announcers weren't, I feel like if you're announcing the NFL, you're probably not announcing a lot of college, right?
No.
So they're experiencing Tory Taylor.
Yeah.
Really for the first time live. And they're so shocked every time. They're like, this is a booming 63-yard punt. Oh my goodness. Like they cannot believe what's happening before their eyes. It's great.
Oh yeah. Which is good because you love to hear, other people. The message of punting is winning. It's spreading.
Yeah,
spreading to the NFL.
A lot of people, Tory Taylor was the most famous punter in the world last fall, right? People are like, oh, it's just kind of a joke because Iowa, they're struggling to score or whatever.
Yeah, it's because of the Iowa offense, right?
No. It's that Tory Taylor is so good at punting that he's actually like our biggest weapon. He's
actually influencing kids across America and the world to be punters, not quarterbacks, not DNs, not basketball players.
Go look in your driveway. There's not a kid shooting hoops or learn how to throw a spiral. It's a kid punting.
They're punting across the street. Absolutely.
No, but in that Rams game, though, he stepped in. The last 2 punts, super clutch, got him, I think, both inside the 10, pinned the Rams back, and helped him win the game. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was and who knows, because these are all based on like people created formulas, but I saw some stat that like their percentage of winning the game on one of those last few big punts was like before the punt, it was like 78%. He pins them at like the 4. It went up to like 86%. Like he increased their chance of winning by like 8 or 9% with one punt.
He's a dog. Yeah. And it bounced the one took a 10-yard bounce right out of bounds. Like not even a returnable punt. He's got, like, I know Kevin likes to say, oh yeah, he's got a 9-iron strapped to his leg, but it's the only, like, I don't know if his player comp is best is like Scotty Scheffler or something, but that might actually just be the most accurate.
Can you imagine Tory gets pulled over for like trying to get into the stadium in the wrong gate? They take him to jail. Imagine the punts he'd send after that thing. He'd be hitting 75 yarders.
But he talked about that in the Hard Knocks this year. They had 20 minutes basically just dedicated to Tory Taylor.
Love that.
He was like, I'm so excited to finally be able to drive to a game. Like, it's pretty nice. And I think it was like the first preseason one. Did you guys, when you were playing in Iowa, were you ever like, boy, I wish I was driving to this game right now?
Never.
No.
Okay. No.
Right.
I don't know why. I'd actually be curious to know why
you get situations like Tyreek Hill earlier this year.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
Less than that though, Kev, is like you have so many things that you're trying to worry about on game day that like
the last thing I need to do is be worried about the 70,000 fans I got to navigate through to get to Kinnick Stadium.
Yeah, trying to get through traffic, trying to park, having someone drive you to the game is that was elite.
Kevin Ward ruled out for the game. He's stuck in traffic.
Stuck on 80. We'll be back this week with all the shows. This one comes out on Monday or Sunday night if you're on the Patreon. Grant and I, Taglines, Patreon podcast on Tuesday. Colt and I on Wednesday. Regular show, another preview. Back to previewing the game, the Ohio State versus Iowa game. We got that afternoon slot this week. Is that correct?
2:30.
2:30. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. Buckeyes will be wearing gray uniforms. Advantage Iowa. I'll say that. Advantage Iowa. Grant, it looks like you're at a rave right now with whatever's playing on your screen.
It's because the Ravens are taking the field. There's a lot of purple going on right now. Looks like a Prince concert out there.
Love that. Purple rain.
Did you I don't know if this is squeezing in time. Did you see the conclusion of the Bill Snyder burner account burrito?
Yeah, to close that storyline up. And Kevin, I don't know if you saw this. The guy shoved a burrito in his ass.
He actually did it.
I don't know if it was in the actual opening of his asshole, but it was definitely up in between his cheeks. And he put on like a mask or something that covered his face and then put that on Twitter.
We obviously can't show it on here.
We can't show it, but it is out there if you want to go find it. Saint Bill Snyder is the account. And all I can say about this is if you take a look at Florida State right now, their program is in shambles. And it is a non-zero chance that they are as bad as they are because they had a fan say that they would absolutely eat dog shit. And that fan did not come through on that. And all I know is Kansas State won by much more than they were favored by this weekend.
They absolutely smacked Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
And the guy who said that he'd shove a burrito in his ass, he shoved it in his ass. So when we say that the Hawks need Grant on Saturdays, the Hawks need you as a fan, well, there's your proof.
I don't know. It does make me consider sometimes. I'm like, should I make a fake Ohio State burner and try and make a wager with the college football Twitterverse in order to help Iowa get a win on Saturday?
I will drive my car off a bridge if Ohio State loses. Some rant like OSU fan 12-16. Yeah, so I don't know. That's a good something to consider, Grant, and maybe keep that at the ready if at halftime things aren't looking so good.
Just doing my part. Then instead of making a Connor Stallions documentary, it's just me and a burner account for different teams.
That'd be great. Netflix would certainly pay for that. You guys can catch us all week on all those shows I just talked about. 5-10-5 show will finish the week on Friday before the Hawks take on the Buckeyes at 2:30 on Saturday. You never know what'll happen. We'll be back on Thursday to preview that and talk about, hey, is this one that the Hawks are going to need a prayer? We've been told that before. We'll see about it. We'll see then.